Hi guys, this is Carter Thomas of Blue Cloud Solutions, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about getting a publisher for your app or for your game and some strategies that you should use to make it a success. Now this question is coming from Mike Burritt. We just did a live Q&A on Blue Cloud Select, which was awesome, and I asked people to, any questions that they have that they would like me to answer in a video like this so I can put on YouTube. And so he asked me, what are some strategies to use with a publisher, right? Or verbatim, what are your top tips for releasing an app through a publisher if you recommend that route? And there's two things I wanted to talk about. And this comes from talking to a lot of different people that have been published and who have relationships with publishers.
The world in the palm of your hand. 22 million of useful land.
In terms of if it's a good route, yeah, it can be a great route. I mean, if you have a game or if you have something that is mass market that could be really viral, that needs a big spike in downloads, getting a publisher could be everything for you. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a recommended or not recommended route in terms of that. So it could work out really well for you. The first tip I would give you, and this is what almost everyone has told me, especially with a game, is it's got to be polished. That's the word that keeps coming back. And with polish, that means that it is, when you play the game, it's super intuitive. It's super smooth. All the details are really well put together. It just works really nicely, and there's a great flow to the game. And the key is when you reach out to these publishers, you just go to their website and email them and say, hey, here's my game, here's what I'd like to do, blah, blah, blah. And they're just going to look at your game. They're going to either ask for a test flight build, or they're going to, if you've already launched it potentially, you're going to put it on the store and have them download it. And they're going to download it. These guys will sit in their office and they will play it. And they're going to look at it and be like, yeah, this is great, or no, this isn't great. That's exactly what's going to happen. There's no other process other than that. So it all comes down to this idea of polish. So the number one recommendation I've heard from all the top guys, both from the publisher and from the people who have gotten published, is you've got to invest really good attention to the detail of the polish of the game. Okay, second thing, and this comes from talking to a fewer of the people who have gotten these publishing deals, and I don't have any specifics or details for a variety of reasons, but you want to really be able to negotiate good terms for your contract. And this is a really hard thing to do, especially if it's your first game and if you really need the downloads. Publishers walk in and they have all the leverage, right? Like they've got people coming to them all day being like, oh, I want to publish my game. I want you to push my game through your system or whatever it may be. And the publisher can negotiate ridiculous terms because of it. They might be able to say, all right, well, we're going to do 80% of the revenue. You get 20%, something like that. And what are you going to say? You're like, well, I'm going to get 200,000 downloads. So like 20% of that's better than nothing, right? And so it's really difficult. However, what you can do is you can negotiate a lot of other things around the app, right? Like you can negotiate the licensing agreement of the intellectual property, right? If you have a great logo, if you have a great brand, if you have something that's super unique, you might be able to license that, or get the rights for that so that you can license all that material. You might be able to get the website and get the trademark and get all these other things. The second thing you want to think about in terms of negotiating is the length of period until you can renegotiate your contract. Sometimes it could be 2-3 years, but the earlier on that you can renegotiate your contract usually is the better for you, because you're going to get the worst deal up front, right? Like you're going to get a lower revenue split, whatever it may be early on. And you want to be able to, after 6 months, say, okay, now we're going to do a 50-50 split because, this is my game and I'm updating it and it's killing it. And like, you're getting all the upside. This is ridiculous. So you want to be able to renegotiate those terms as early as possible. If the publisher says no to all of this stuff, you got two options, right? You can go hire a lawyer to try to see if you can make it work, or you can just go find a new publisher that will give you a better term sheet than that. But with those two concepts, having a really polished app, really like just beautiful and nice and great to use, and then knowing what you want on the term sheet, talking to other people that have had their apps published with that publisher or with other publishers, getting an idea of what you want to negotiate. Those two pieces are probably my highest recommendations to make sure that you have a great relationship with any publisher. I think one final thing that I would tell you is that a lot of people think about publishing not only for games, but they look in the App Store and they try to find publishers that are already in the App Store. Anybody can be a publisher, right? Like anybody. Like some online celebrity could be a publisher. Some celebrity can be a publisher. It doesn't have to be a publishing company. So if you can find somebody that has the ability to move large amounts of volume of anything, of influence, of social media, of email addresses, of Facebook pixels, whatever, they can become a publisher too. And you can seek them out and negotiate a publishing deal with them that may be much more favorable because now you are in a unique position. So think about that. If I was Ketchapp, if I was a publisher that I was getting 50 inbound requests a week of games, as Ketchapp, I could say, well, no, I'm only going to do this if we keep 90% of the revenue because if you say no, I've got 49 other people lined up. However, let's say I am some YouTube vlogger about game stuff and I have 500,000 subscribers and I'm not really doing much for I don't really have a whole lot of monetization, and I only get like 2 games coming to me a week asking to be published. All of a sudden, if I get a really good game coming in the door, I'd be way more interested in doing something like a 50-50 split because I need the money a lot more than Ketchapp does. And so you can start to really seek out these publishers individually and get some really amazing deal structures and some really unique potential leverage in that sense. This is really key outside of the main niche markets, right? Once you get out of the entertainment, lifestyle, gaming categories, you can start to get into, I always love the finance category as an example because I used to work with a couple of wealth management guys on websites. And a lot of their clients were these dudes in New York City that they had newsletter lists of 500, 600, 700,000 people that every week or every month they would send out the state of the market or our stock picks for the month or whatever it may be. Imagine if you went to them and you said, hey, let's do a 50-50 split on this finance app I have. They'd be like, yeah, sure, this is great. And they could just put that link in their website or in their email address or whatever in the footer, and you might get like 100,000 finance downloads. Stuff like that it's just so readily apparent out there. And the key is just remembering that publishers do not need to say the word publisher next to their company name for them to be a publisher. It's anybody with influence. It's anybody with the ability to distribute and push people to your app. That's a publisher. So I hope that helps. And feel free to leave a comment below if you have any other questions or if you have any experience with publishing that you'd like to add to this. In the meantime, keep rocking, keep pushing. It's going to happen. This is Carter Thomas, and I will talk to you soon.